Hey everyone, my name's Sarah Lavonne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. A few months ago, I posted a video with 3 breathing techniques for your labor, birth, and life. And you guys loved that video. And so I wanted to come back with another breathing technique that you can use in your regular life for maybe some anxiety and moments when you need to kind of slow things down, or even use it for your labor. And so one of the things I wanna say is I have made a chapter here. If you wanna jump ahead and just practice the breathing with me, because I will be demonstrating this type of breath, you can click that chapter forward. Otherwise, I will be talking about the breath a little bit to give you some background about it and why it's helpful. And then we'll get into practicing our breath. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe down below, give it a like, share it with a friend, and then let's get breathing. I feel like breath work sometimes is an underrated thing that we do. If you think about it, we breathe all day, every day, and we aren't necessarily being intentional about our breath, but breathing is such an incredible tool for our life. So whether you're pregnant now, or maybe considering getting pregnant into the future, or you've already had your baby, these breathing techniques to me have become so essential to managing my anxiety. I didn't used to be an anxious person. I think that throughout life, some things have happened to me that have caused some anxiety. And then now I will say that I am a very busy person and I have a lot going on and a lot of stressors, and running your own business can be a lot of pressure. And so I find myself doing some breath work throughout my life, whether I'm conscious of it or not, to help down regulate the nervous system. So what does that mean? Your nervous system is your fight or flight. So when we're in moments where we're scared or where there's something coming at us, it's our I'm scared and I'm gonna run away, and I have the energy to run away. And sometimes, like, say somebody runs in the door and they scare you, or they yell at you, or you're almost in a car accident. I know for me, that's what I always think about. Like, if there's ever a close call, afterwards, what do we feel? Shaky, right? And that's our adrenaline, that's our fight, flight, or technically there's a freeze and fawn, but that's a whole nother video. Let me know if you want it down below. So our fight and flight is a reaction of our nervous system to help protect us. Now, the other side of that is our parasympathetic nervous system, which down regulates our nervous system. So it brings us down. It's our rest and digest, as we say in nursing school. And so we need a balance of the two. We can't be constantly on alert, like all the time. Or we can't also be so mellow that we actually potentially are harmed by the world coming at us, right? We need a balance of the two. But sometimes, thanks to our life experiences or traumas in our life, our fight or flight is turned on, and then sometimes it's hard to turn it off. And that's not your fault. That's actually just a result of your body trying to protect you. But sometimes, instead of going back into that calm, like I've recovered from whatever that scary thing was, we're still on high alert. And that's when that anxiety, or even sometimes depression, can sink in, thanks to, and I'm gonna say that's probably because of some sort of trauma. We all have trauma in our lives. And so because of that, we need grounding techniques to help regulate our nervous system and help tell our brain, hey, there's no reason to be scared here. And so I think about this, obviously this is a life lesson, so we're kind of pivoting from like labor and birth, which this clearly applies to labor and birth as well. But we're pivoting away because I think for all of us, we all need more relaxation in our lives. We are go, 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 go. There's things happening all the time. We have hard stuff going on no matter what stage of life you're in. And so it's important to find moments of calm and to slow down the nervous system so you can feel that relief on your body. No one wants to live with that kind of anxiety. And so that's where these breathing techniques, and I will link the previous video in the description box down below. Check that out if you haven't gone there, because those I said are specific for labor, but they also can be used for life. And then this breath is great for life, for slowing things down, down regulating the nervous system, and bringing our brains out of fight or flight down to rest and digest in the parasympathetic nervous system. I will say I have to give all the credit to Krista Dancy, who is our resident trauma-informed therapist. And she teaches for bundle birth nurses. We have multiple classes on the website related to trauma-informed care and healing trauma in the birth professional, and then a grounding techniques class, all coming depending on when you're watching this. And so one of the things that she taught us was an entire list of grounding techniques for down regulating the nervous system. I want to be very clear. earlier, it is not your fault if you are turned on, meaning your nervous system is turned on, okay? And so sometimes we need to use some techniques, one of them, and one of the most effective being our breath, to downregulate the nervous system and help us to feel that calm and relief from life. We all need relief from life. Now, let me relate this to labor, okay? Because in labor is stressful, and sometimes you walk into it, hopefully you don't because you've been watching this channel and you've taken my childbirth classes, but hopefully you walk in a little bit calmer than normal, but it's unknown and there is risk involved. And sometimes, especially even based on your life experiences, you can be triggered throughout your labor. And so what I want you to know is some techniques for if you feel like you are turned on, your nervous system is on and you're on high alert. We need you in rest or digest in order for your labor to work better. So not only is this good for your anxiety, it's also good for actually stimulating your labor hormones to be able to work. We gotta bring everything down, slow it down. So in your labor, if you are feeling on, like your anxiety is on high, you're I'm really scared and jumpy everywhere, sometimes we need to downregulate the nervous system, change your environment, and slow everything down and use this breathing technique to help regulate your brain and tell your brain, you're safe here, slow it down, all is well. So let's practice this new breathing technique. I've found this in the yoga world. Sometimes some people call this a 2-to-1 breath. Maybe this is bad, actually. I've never thought of this association, but I call it a suicide breath, which sounds terrible, actually. But the idea is if you've ever done suicides in sports where you do you go up the line and back, farther, back, farther, back, farther, back. That's how I think about it in my brain, because what we're doing is sometimes you may find, especially in your labor or your life, it's hard to slow your breathing. If I'm like, okay, now do an in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. You're like you kind of got to work into it, right? And so this helps you work into a super elongated breath, with the goal of our breathing being to slow it down to a place where it's distractingly long. You're still getting the oxygen that you and your baby needs. And then it helps to kind of tell your brain, I'm okay, I'm safe. And you will feel the calm kind of rush over you, okay? So there may be other names for this. Please let me know in the comment box down below if there are other names for this. What we're going to do, and I'm gonna tell you about it and then we'll practice it together, is we're gonna start with 3 and then we're gonna build on that number, okay? So then it would be an in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Fine, then we're gonna elongate the exhale, okay? That's the goal. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get the idea that we're gonna make it all the way to 10 if we can. So it would be a 10 exhale. So we're really tripling the end of it. Now, some people, especially in your pregnancy, let's be clear, for me, I can do 10. But if you're pregnant, your lung capacity is a little bit less. So if you need to only go to 6, you kind of have to find your sweet spot number of what works for you. And then if you're a partner or you're a support person that's there along the way with somebody, you can use this as a back pocket trick that if you're starting to see them kind of freaking out, that instead that in might feel really good to I gotta fill my lungs, give me the air, right? And then on exhale, we wanna slow it down. So let's go to 5 next time. In, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can kind of push them, and as you kind of slow everyone down, slowly but surely you get to that 10, okay? Now I will make also a note for a contraction. If you're trying to do this in a contraction, sometimes at the peak of the contraction, you may not be able to get to that 6. Some people they kind of need to speed up their breath in order to cope through the top of the contraction, because that's the most intense part. So if you needed to, start with your 3, 4, 5, and that's that Lamaze breath I taught in the first breathing class. So gonna do a quick one over the peak and then slow it down and go right back into whatever number you left off at. So if you did 5 prior to the, then go back to 5. 4, 5, 6, and then you can continue going. But it's a way to sort of, the idea with contractions is not much else changes other than your breath during the contraction. So then obviously when the contraction's over, you can breathe normal, you can go about your life. Some people still find it helpful. Some people reset at 3 at the beginning of the contraction. You can kind of find your own way. There's so many variations of this, with the idea that we're getting to at least a double elongation of the exhale, with the inhale being a little bit quicker. So let's practice it together. We're gonna start with an inhale on 3. I will use my hand. If you want to watch my hand, you can. Otherwise, just close your eyes, listen to my voice. We're gonna go all the way to 10, and then we're gonna work our way back from 10 to 3 before we're done. So as you set up for your breath, I want you to just do a quick body scan and feel for any discomfort anywhere. And if you feel uncomfortable anywhere, I want you to just shift your weight. If you need to lay down, you can. If you need to kind of roll your shoulders, stretch it out, get ready for this breath. We're either waiting for a contraction or just waiting for the moment that I start talking. Okay, so when you're ready, we'll do an inhale, in, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. And we'll do a goodbye breath, cleansing breath all together. So let me know in the comment box down below 2 things, what I want to know from you. One is, how did it feel on your body? Did you feel that kind of relaxation come over you? And by the end, hopefully all of us are kind of feeling like, oh, right? And that calm, that's your parasympathetic nervous system helping you out to decrease your anxiety, slow everything down so that you can find that peace and calm in your body. And then the other thing I want to know is, what number did it become a struggle? I know for me that usually the 8 or 9, I'm like, okay, I really got to pay attention now and like really pace myself with my breath. But what I love about the counting side of things is, one, when you get to those long numbers, it really does force you to be intentional with your breath, where you're really thinking about the air coming in and then how am I going to pace myself to make it to the end, which is a great distraction for labor and life. And then the other thing is that how many of you felt like you were holding on to my every number, and maybe you saw something in your head of like 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And that also is such an incredible distraction for your labor. One of the things I use all the time is that breath in, quick breath in, and then I'll count on the way out. And they know when they get to 10, or I'll count down from 10 to 0, and the contraction will be over, and that can be really helpful for coping as well. The last total side trick I have for you to downregulate your nervous system is what's called horse lips. And I think this came from Ina May Gaskin. I believe it might have been a Penny Simkin, one of the two, because I have a lot of their stuff over here that I read and learn from. And that's where on the exhale, that one of the ways to just stimulate your nervous system really quick to release some stress is to go. And it's funny because what I found is that once I read that, I was like, oh, interesting. And then I found myself naturally doing it all the time, where I'm like, wow, I must be more stressed out than I thought I was, because I'll see it now where I'm. And when you blow your lips like that, it sort of does this quick release of adrenaline to help quick downregulate your nervous system. So that's another little side tip I have for you. Thanks everyone for being with me here today. If you want more from me, let me know in the comment box down below other video suggestions that you have for me. Tell me your takeaways from this video. How are you doing? I'm always curious to know what's happening out there. What are you struggling with? And then hopefully I can create some content to help with that. I hope you found this a really relaxing video and really helpful, not only for labor, birth, pregnancy, postpartum, parenting, but also for life. As you probably know, you can head on over to my website, bundlebirth.com, and I have all sorts of online childbirth classes. One that would definitely correlate with this video in particular is my Coping with Labor class, and that teaches you literally like 2.5 hours worth of coping strategies to help you cope with your labor, whether that be to get you to an epidural, get you to the hospital, or get you all the way to your birth with your baby. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, make sure you subscribe, and then until next time, don't forget to flex and flow, and I will see you soon. Bye. Okay, that was a good little segue, right? God, I could talk about anything for 5,000 years. Like, just get me going. I'm like, this will be a 5-minute YouTube. No, it's 20 minutes later. Okay.